Dad, we got detained at the bar. And now we're at the hospital being quarantined? Help us.
Afternoon, Mr. Blake. What's the pleasure of this call?
Oh, I was going to ask you about my kids, but looks like they got admitted.
Yes, they did. And I understand your concern, but if I were you, I'd be prepared to expect the worst.
Doctor, what are you talking about?
Well, Mr. Blake, are you aware of them experiencing any symptoms? Nausea, fatigue, loss of taste, loss of smell?
I don't know. My daughter told me that she wasn't positive, but I don't believe her. As for my son, he's coughing like a heavy smoker.
Well, Mr. Blake, they're a reckless bunch. They're not following CDC guidelines. They're not social distancing. They're not avoiding gatherings. So I'd say so.
This generation it's something else. This generation thinks it is immune to this virus like the so-called influencers at Calabasas. Having house parties, not following orders of the mayor.
Can somebody get that? I want to call. I understand, Mr. Blake, but there are consequences to their actions, and they're going to show soon.
Doctor, can I ask you something?
Sure, go right ahead.
We've known each other for 20 years or so? I spoke with you earlier about my wife and I getting therapy. Probably you can give me some advice here.
Okay, so what kind of advice are you looking for me to give?
My wife and I, we've been arguing a lot more recently. Life isn't the way that it used to be when we first started our marriage.
Well, Job, it's not really appropriate for me to be playing therapist, but I could help you out this once.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
Let's start here. Have you done anything small for her lately? Just little tiny things here and there?
No, not that I recall. I've been too stressed out about what's been going on.
Okay. Well, look, Job, when I first got married, things were great. My wife and I were having a great time for the first couple of years. After a while, it took a pretty harsh downward spin to the point where she had actually asked me for a divorce. My parents found out about it, and my dad had given me this book. And inside this book, there was a 30-day challenge to help get my marriage back on track. I can give you the tips I learned from that book if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that. Thanks.
Okay, there's 5. First one, you have to resolve to say anything negative about or to your spouse for one whole day. Number 2, find a way to greet your spouse today that reflects the way that you love her, in a way that you show her that you love her, but you have to do it with enthusiasm and a smile on your face. Number 3, sit down with your spouse and have her tell you 3 things that make her feel uncomfortable or upset her that you do. But the most important part of that is when she tells you, you cannot get mad at her. Number 4, do something out of the ordinary for her. Bring her flowers, bring her chocolate, bring home her favorite meal, and just sit down and have dinner together. Last but not least, number 5, take things that you would normally ordinarily do throughout the day, some meetings that you can put off or reschedule for some other time, and go home and spend some quality time with your spouse.
Doc, she is so stressful. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know what clicked in her brain. After all these years of being married and having children.
Job, all I can tell you are the things that I learned from this book. They definitely helped and saved my marriage. But I have an idea, because I'm curious what she'd say about you.
Hold up. Doctor, I respectfully asked you for advice. I didn't ask you to turn this into a couples therapy session.
I understand, but I think that this may bring some closure to whatever issues you two may be having.
Dr. Maldonado, this is not a good idea. I'm just being real. We had an argument about a week or so ago. She's been quiet ever since. She hasn't even talked to our children.
Still think that we probably should give her a call.
Okay. Go right ahead. But I'm gonna warn you, it's about to be hell on earth the minute that she gets into this conversation.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Blake. My name's Dr. Bryan Maldonado. Your husband had called initially with some concerns for your children, but he also let me know that you two may be having some issues with your marriage.
Joe, why do you have to go around telling everyone our personal issues?
I told the doctor it wasn't a good idea, and I hate this just as much as you do. But I want our marriage to work. And he said that he could help us out.
Joe, look, I don't have time for this. We already went through this once and it didn't help at all.
Yeah, now, look, what we're trying to do here is just figure out what issues you two are having and see if we can resolve those issues to help strengthen your guys' marriage.
Okay, go right ahead, Doc.
You need to get a grip on your anger. This is getting ridiculous.
I'll get my anger under control. That's why you told him to call me.
To come to grips with the fact that every small discussion escalates into an argument based on the fact that you can't seem to handle your anger.
No.
Oh, hold on.
It's because of his failure to commit to something that's very important to me.
So, for you, this is something that you want him to commit to?
Yes,
What exactly is it that you want?
to have a family.
Uh-huh.
He can't commit to that.
Sabrina, what are you talking about? Isn't that enough for you?
Why can't we have another child? The neighbors next door just had one and they're on the platinum membership of AARP.
Sabrina, you are going on 41 years old. I am going on 36. What is going on in your mind?
What is wrong with having another child, Job?
Lord, help this woman.
Now, how frequently do you guys get this heated at home?
All the time, like every day.
So what would have been the next step?
Well, he probably would have left the room because he never wants to talk about anything.
And you would have tried to...
Well, I would have kept talking about it because I just don't run away. I talk about things.
So you'd have tried to keep talking about...
Yeah.
Well, Job, is her statement accurate? Would you have just tried to leave the room or what?
No, I wouldn't have left the room. She comes after me with this gangbusters tone of voice.
Doctor, all I want is to have one more child. But he doesn't want to commit to it, and I don't see what
Sabrina,
the issue is.
we are not having any more kids. Get
Well,
it
now,
through your head.
Sir, there's nothing wrong with having kids at this age. I mean, there's normal complications, but...
So you're going to flip the tables now, and you're going to take her side.
Mr. Blake, that's not what I meant.
Oh, and now I'm Mr. Blake. Sure seemed like it.
Oh, okay, Job, you're right. I'm sorry. Let's just move on to a different subject. Now, with the children that you guys currently have, do you guys have any issues with them right now?
A lot of issues.
Yeah, because of you. You've influenced them to be that way.
Give me a break,
No,
Sabrina.
no. You want to follow these strict rules and not let them live their life normally like every other person.
Oh, yeah, and you're just so perfect, giving them anything that they want.
You know what, Job? I don't have time for this.
Yeah, I don't have time either.
Well, that went well, I'd say.
Doctor, if you have any more time available, can we please talk about my kids?
Code blue level 2.
Sorry, I gotta go.